Hi, I'm Khan,
And I'm Eve.
and we are here today representing the Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology at Rutgers University and the New Jersey Hope and Healing Program. We're going to talk about life balance and how you can use life balance to help you prepare for the bar during COVID.
So, what is life balance?
Life balance is a practice of purposefully dividing time between different domains of life.
That's right. Life balance allows you to reduce stress, increase productivity, and reduce burnout. Life balance is more important now than ever.
And why do you think that is?
Well, before the pandemic, it was easier to keep work and home life separate. Now, more than ever, we find ourselves engaged in work and school for much longer during the day, leaving the more relaxing parts of life in the dust. I know I find myself checking my email or anything really way after I'm supposed to be done with work for that day.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've been doing that more often too.
Yeah, so that's why it's really important to set limits between your work, even like studying for the bar and your personal life.
Yeah, so let's talk more about life balance. There are 7 areas to keep in mind when it comes to life balance. You can see here that they are creating boundaries, making time for yourself, self-care, taking breaks, reaching out for social support, letting go of guilt, and lastly, unplugging from technology and using it in a healthy way.
So, beginning with creating boundaries, as you mentioned earlier, a lot of people have noticed that because many things are remote right now, it can be hard to create separation between different areas of our lives.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to set limits between studying, working, and socializing.
Definitely. A good way to start doing this is being comfortable saying no and making it clear that you're not able to work or talk past a certain time.
Yeah, and another way to do this is to set time limits. So because you're preparing for this huge exam, make sure to set time limits for yourself. This can look different for everyone, so you'll need to find the balance that works for you. Some people find success with taking a 5-minute break every hour or a 30-minute break every 4 hours. So don't be afraid to try until you find what works for you.
Yes, finally, we wanted to share some tools that we found helpful in our own studying. You may have heard of these already or even tried them yourself, but we wanted to mention them just in case. These tools include Google Calendar, physical planners, and time management apps like Rescue Time, which actually sets an alarm to limit the amount of time that you spend on certain apps.
Oh yeah, those are awesome. I know I use Google Calendar. The final thought we had on this area is that when you're preparing for a huge exam like the bar, it may be useful to create a week by week plan of how you're going to tackle your studying. For example, some people may select a topic for a certain day or set a goal to study for a certain number of hours on a certain day.
That's so true. It's also really important to make time for social things. I know I pencil in a little reward to call my friends at the end of a long day of studying.
Yeah, good point. Make sure to build in rewards when you meet your goals. So you can call a friend, like Eve said, or treat yourself to ice cream or whatever else you enjoy.
Yes, moving on. Our second domain of life balance that we wanted to share with you guys is making time for yourself.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, make sure to set aside time each day or week to do things that bring you joy. This can include exercise, art, music, reading, or any activity that's enjoyable to you.
Yes, but Khan, if you're studying for the bar, doesn't that sound kind of counterproductive to set aside that time?
Yeah, it may seem like that, but it can actually really help. When you may be feeling overwhelmed, taking a small break from these things can help you feel refreshed and restored. I know it works for me when I'm studying a lot.
Oh, good point. Are you ready to talk about self care?
Yeah, sure. So, self care is sometimes seen as a buzzword that is often associated with bubble baths, shopping sprees, or inspirational Instagram posts. But in reality, self care doesn't have to cost you any money.
That's so true. According to the American Psychological Association, self care includes activities required for personal care, such as eating, dressing, or grooming.
It can also include other activities like going for walks, meditating, talking with friends, and playing a video game. It's also important that we prioritize sleep and staying active. Most studies show that a minimum of 30 minutes per day of self care can help with managing stress and preventing burnout.
Finding habits that work for you can take some trial and error, and not every habit is right for everyone. A good place to start is reflecting on the habits you already do. Chances are you're already engaging in many self care activities, so consider what has worked for you and build on that.
Yeah, so we're going to go into more detail about self-care and how to use it to help you feel and do your best on the bar in one of our later webinars. So be sure to check that out.
So, what's the next domain of life balance?
It's taking breaks.
Oh man, I know I need help with this one. I know when I'm studying, hours can pass by so quickly.
Agreed. And generally, it's best to make sure to take consistent breaks. This can help to restore energy and increase productivity by allowing your brain and body the rest they need to continue with your day.
So, what about the importance of reaching out for social support?
Social distancing and extended work schedules have resulted in many students feeling isolated. I would imagine this is actually difficult when you're studying for the bar.
Agreed. Being available for family and friends, even through video calls, can help you feel supported, especially as you're prepping for something as big as the bar.
Yeah, and the next step is pretty quick. It's about letting go of guilt. Eve, can you explain this one?
Yeah, definitely. Some days you might not feel like you did your best work, or you could not find enough time to study. Be kind to yourself. No one is perfect, and there are no 0 days.
Agreed. And so our final area of life balance is all about healthy technology use.
Oh man, I know I need help with this one too. Between class, homework, social media, keeping up with the news, I feel like I'm always staring at a screen.
Yeah, totally. That's why it's so important to limit your passive use. Passive use is idly scrolling without interacting with others. And we've all done this, but this can be harmful to your mental health, whereas actively communicating can foster a sense of connectedness. So using social media to stave off boredom is not satisfying. And so make time for activities that fulfill you and genuinely make you happy.
Oh, yeah, I definitely find myself mindlessly scrolling through social media. Another thing I catch myself doing is media multitasking. Have you heard of that?
No, what's that?
Media multitasking is having multiple screens and tabs open. So for me, I know I like to sometimes hold my phone when I'm maybe watching a webinar. So media multitasking can contribute to technology fatigue. So it helps a lot to focus on one thing at a time. Staring at screens all day can cause fatigues, headaches, and difficulty concentrating.
Yeah, definitely. I know mindfulness has helped me with this actually. Mindfulness can help you to be more aware of the feelings and sensations in your body and help you to realize when it's time to take a break. So those symptoms that Eve mentioned, fatigue, headaches, and difficulty concentrating can be identified with mindfulness, and then you'll know when you should take a break. So we're going to go into more detail about mindfulness in a later webinar as well. So please stay tuned for that.
Going back to technology use, Khan, do you have any creative ideas on how students can study for the bar and maybe get off their computer for a moment?
Yeah, totally. So some ideas I have are bring your laptop outside, connecting with peers for study groups, and looking over practical examples and applying what you know rather than just memorizing and reading the same things over and over.
Oh, wow. Those are really great ideas. I'll definitely use the one about bringing my laptop outside for my own personal studying.
Yeah, and I love that one too. All right, so that's all we have on creating life balance.
Awesome. We were able to talk about creating boundaries, making time for yourself, utilizing self care, taking breaks, reaching out for social support, letting go of guilt, and using technology in a healthy way.
Yeah, and finally, we want to share a few resources with you. There's a link in the description with information about COVID from the federal government.
Yep. And there's also a link in the description with our website, which actually allows you to request a free 15-minute check in call. So this could be useful when you're feeling overwhelmed with studying or just in general with COVID.
Wow, thank you so much for watching this webinar. We hope this was useful.
Yes, we're so excited to share more with you. The next one we have planned is actually on mindfulness, which Khan spoke about a little bit earlier. We'll be posting it very soon, and we would love it if you had a chance to check it out.
Um,
Here's our
and
email information if you need to reach out to us.
And this is a little bit about us, the Center for Psychological Services of the Rutgers Graduate School of Applied and Professional Psychology, in collaboration with the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services, Disaster and Terrorism Branch, offers this crisis counseling program through a Federal Emergency Management Agency grant. This program is brought to you through the New Jersey Hope and Healing Crisis Counseling Program. And that's it for this webinar. And thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys.